All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to the Monday Morning Mindset Podcast. Paul McLean here. And as always, it is an honor and privilege to be here with you this morning. And like I say every week, because it is the absolute truth, I sit back and think, who can I have on here when we have a guest that can really provide great value to you? Because the goal is not just to have another podcast. How many know that there's thousands of podcasts out there? But I want this to be a podcast where you leave each and every week and you believe that you got a higher level thought process, a better belief system, and some practical things you can do to make this week better than last week. I am 100% sure this week we're going to do that for you because we've got somebody on that is 20 years of age. She's a full-time college student. Okay, so just track me 20, full-time college student, lives in a dorm, is going to graduate, which I feel like is ahead of schedule, which just makes sense given her character, but it's going to graduate in May of this year. And she also went out there and hit President's Club, which is over four or 500,000 issue paid volume. And so just absolutely crushing it. And so today we have Alyssa on. Alyssa, welcome to the podcast and so good to have you with us.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. Just so I know, what did you actually issue pay in 2025?
Um, I issued 420 in life and then I had about 300 in annuity volume.
Wow. So 420,000 issue paid life volume,
Hmm.
300,000 in index fixed index annuity volume. And
Hmm.
so all while going to college. And so the first question I've got, and guys, if you don't already know, or if you haven't already grabbed a pen and a piece of paper, my question is like, do you really want to grow or are you just trying to act like you want to grow? First question I've got is given the fact that you're 20 years old, what is something that you believe about yourself that most people you think don't believe about themselves at your age, that if they did, it would really kind of help lift the lid and take them to the level that they want to go to?
I think for me, I had a lot of self-doubt coming into this. I was in this space since I was 17. I came in with a lot of doubt. There's a lot of people that told me I couldn't do it. Um, so I just wanted to prove everyone wrong. Like I'm a very competitive person, so if you tell me I can't, I'll do it and I'll do it even better than you thought. So that's where my mindset comes from. Um, I wanted to be the proof of concept for young people to be taken seriously in this business, and write serious numbers. So my mindset coming into this was I'm gonna do what it takes in order to hit my goals. And I also have mentors that really push me. I didn't want to go for President's Club this last year, if I'm being really honest. I wanted to do 250,000. It's what I thought I could do, and that's what I thought I could fit in with school. But Mindy Tibbs, my mentor, she told me, she's like, this is a President's Club year for you, and I really believe you can do it. I have mentors that believe in me even more than I do sometimes. They took a chance on an 18-year-old kid who they really had no reason to make it. And they believed in me, and that belief drove me to hit all the goals that I had set as well as they had set for me.
I love that. And I think this is, I guess point one for all that are taking notes, like getting around the right people that can see greatness in you. Because everybody that's on here, you've got a seed of greatness in you. God doesn't create crap, He creates greatness. And so you've got these seeds of greatness in you, but a lot of times those stay dormant until we get into the right environment with the right people. And somebody can say, hey, this is a President's Club year for you. This isn't 200,000 a year. This is a 400,000 plus year for you. And then what you get to do is you get to borrow the belief from them until you believe it for yourself. But it
Yeah.
takes getting around the right people that through repetition of message, they continue to tell you and spotlight and highlight and throw miracle grow on that seed. So much so, eventually the evidence starts breaking through the ground, and you're like, well, heck, maybe I am. Maybe I can. Maybe this is true. Maybe this is my identity, is that I could go out there and do something great here and make a great impact and be influential for everybody else that's my age. And I love what you said, Alyssa. I think this is a second point is like, really understanding why you're doing what you're doing, getting a mission and a cause that's bigger than you. You didn't say, I just wanted to make $500,000 in income. You didn't say that. You said,
Hmm.
I really wanted to go out and show people that my age that you could do this. I wanted to
Hmm.
kind of lift the lid in false beliefs that maybe people have that say, well, I see others doing it, but I'm 20. I see others doing it, but I got full-time college student classes. So I see others doing it, and so I love that. Was there any other things like maybe the national summit that helped really kind of like bring out that seed of greatness in you
Yeah.
that helped shift that identity for you? And if so, kind of talk about how that made a difference for you.
Yeah. It everything that summit, I started out and I was a regular agent. I wouldn't show up on time. I would clock out early. I didn't have drive really yet. And it took a while for it to become untapped. I started in May, and then in October, I had an average rating. I issued 90 grand my first 6 months. And in October, um, I can't remember who said it, but this is my speech for Summit this week. I'm talking about my turning point in my career. And someone said, if you're working the same way you're working right now, you're going to be out in 6 months. And so for me, I was like, well, no, I have all these dreams. I have all these aspirations. I want to do all of these big things. But I knew deep down the way I was working right now, I would be out of the business in 6 months. So my topic is will your work ethic take you to 6 months out, or will it take you to millions? So that was like the major turning point last year. It was very impactful. Jonah Lewis, first guy up, he talked about don't give up before the blessing. And I didn't realize how like pivotal that would be for me this year. I have had a sticky note running my PC year. Like it's not easy. And I got my butt kicked more days than I didn't. And I had that on my desk, don't give up before the blessing. And every time I kept persevering, every time I didn't clock out early because I was frustrated, it always paid out, whether it was in a 10K day. I had an agent win that day that I wouldn't have seen if I clocked out. Um, these events are so pivotal, and you might feel like I'm sitting there and talking to these people and listening, and I don't really feel like I'm getting out, but it gets in your subconscious and it changes your mindset and your work ethic, and it unlocked that drive that I needed and I didn't have before I went to a Pinnacle event.
I love that. I mean, I think that's even a great practical point that somebody could take is like what words, what quote, what sentence could you put in front of you that when you get pressed or you get, you're in this tough time or your feelings and emotions are kind of screaming at you like, man, this probably won't work. Like, look how
Yeah.
bad this is going. Like you can remind yourself of the truth. The truth is there's going to be a blessing. Like nobody in this
Yeah.
business that hasn't given up hasn't gotten to a blessing. I've seen it over and over and over again. But you got to be reminded in that moment of like, shoot, this sucks. Like I had this person all the way through. It was 5,000 in AP and then they hung up on me
Hmm.
or whatever, right? And you're like, this is terrible. And you just read like, don't give up before my blessing. Okay, I get it back on the phones, right? And so it just
Yeah.
reminds you of like your truth and what you're going after so that way it can pull you in the right direction to continue to do it. And so I think that's very important. Like, what are some things that for you listening today, what are some things you could put around you, right? Like for me, Alyssa, when my daughter was going through stage 4 cancer and going through chemotherapy, like we had scriptures throughout the whole house. We had them over on every single, it looked real tacky. They weren't like, the ones in a nice frame, right? Where you kind of get them at, Hobby Lobby or whatever you get those at.
Yeah.
They were just like printed off from computer paper, but I had them everywhere because no matter where I went, I wanted to be reminded of the fact that she was healed, that she was covered, that she was protected. And so every time I stepped in, no matter what thought I had going on in my mind, it could have been a thought of fear, of doubt, of what if, of negative, future. But then I would read that and instantly it would help me get my mind back right. It
Hmm.
helped me, it'd settle me and get my mind right and it'd get my behavior right. And so I think it's so important for anybody on here to do that. I remember this one guy, Alyssa, gosh, his name was John DeVries. Um,
Hmm.
in his 70s, had never made more than like 50,000 a year, gets started, joins the company. He responds to like an Indeed ad, and this is years and years ago, and he starts killing it. Like writes like 40,000 his like second month, just starts crushing it. Ends up writing over 400,000 and makes 4 times more than he ever had in his prior 70 years of his life. And I said, "What really helped you?" He's like, "I just put on my wall." I just put, just keep dialing, just keep dialing, don't stop dialing, just keep dialing. I was like, "Is that it?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, send me a picture. Like, that's what it was like all over his wall. Just keep dialing, don't stop dialing, dial, dial, dial. And it was just a
Yeah.
reminder that like he needed because he would get distracted. He's like, so if I was distracted and sometimes it would be subconscious, like I just be caught doing whatever else. Like it could be scrolling. It could have been taking a phone call that wasn't urgent or important. It could have been checking pending, but it could have been whatever. He'd look up
Mhm.
like, oh shoot, and it'd instantly get him back on track, right? Those words would get him back on track. And your words, they got you back on track. And so I absolutely love that. Was that kind of like the pivotal point where you decided at that summit to stop taking this business casually and really kind of go
Yeah.
all in?
Yeah, October, my mom talked about it. I didn't even remember like that there was a flip. We were having a conversation, again, I'll talk about this at Summit, but we were having a conversation about one of our someone that we work with. I'm like, I don't understand. They have so much potential. Why can't they just flip the switch? They would be so good if they just applied themselves.
Mhm.
And she goes, "Well, you don't you realize you haven't always been the way you are. You didn't always have that drive. When your mom's your business partner, she tends to reality check you. She really doesn't feel bad about it at all. And she reminds you of your worst moments as well. So she's like, you were that agent who you weren't on live dials every day at 8 a.m. either. So she's like, you need to remember your beginning. You tend to like to forget that. And honestly, these last few months, it's been me really reflecting of how far I've come. And now it's been looking towards the future and planning the future and where we want to go in 2026 eventually. So,
I love that. That's so good. And I think you do need somebody that can kind of give you that reality check. And I think also the curse of knowledge is a real thing. Like you'll just forget how it used to be when you're engaging in a season that's now so far removed and it's just different now, right? You'll forget what that used to be like. I think it's important, especially as we lead, to be kind of correct and say, okay, let me kind of slow down and go back and say, how was it for me day one? What are they thinking about? What are they struggling about? What's the emotions that they're going through? And that way we can best, connect, equip, and empower them to get from there. All right, I got to ask you this because I know everybody's thinking this. I know most people are thinking this. Two things. One, really your schedule. Like, what
yeah.
does that look like? You got full-time college, you're
Yeah.
staying at the dorm. Break that down. Like, what does your day look like? How do you get it all fit in? How do you go out and get a degree, right?
Mm.
And still go out and issue pay what you're issue paying? Like, go through that real quick.
Yeah, I mean, so so ministry on Sundays, I have ministry all day. I help run one of the toddler nurseries at my church. So I have ministry all day, and then Monday is I set myself up for the week. My Mondays are really pivotal. So I work all day. I get here around 7:38, and I usually don't leave here till like 9:30, and then I take my laptop back and I work on stuff. On Sundays, I look at my agent's accountability trackers from the previous week, seeing how they did. I'll text them about it and be like, hey, let's tweak this. Monday's a full day, full hours. I have meetings all day. Tuesday, I have classes in the morning. I have classes till 12, and then I start my work day. I come in, whether it's filming recruiting ads or running appointments, things like that. Tuesday is a full run day, so I run probably 14 appointments on Tuesday. Wednesday, I only have one class, so I only have to be at school from 11 to 12. So I dial all morning for the afternoon and I run about 12 appointments. On Wednesdays, I usually have meeting schedule on Wednesdays. Something I've really discovered, like my mentors have been like beating in my head this year, is that you need time to recharge. So Thursdays, I don't work at all. I have a mentorship call every other week with Jason Edwards, but besides that, I won't work. And then Friday I have classes. I don't have a super early morning class, so from like 8 to 10, I dial, go to class till 1, and then I start working at 2. I dial, I run like 6 appointments, and then on Saturday in the morning, it depends what my ministry hours look like. Like last week, I had a 5-hour CPR training for ministry, but in the morning, I'll dial and then I'll run like 6 or 8 appointments and then I spend some time with my friends on Saturday night.
That is
So,
so good. I
full
love how
schedule.
you've got like such a full life within that schedule, right? I think
Hmm.
oftentimes we buy into the lie of like, I'm just super busy. I don't have enough time. And the truth is, there's
Yeah.
168 hours in a schedule, right? And if you're sleeping 50 hours a week, 7 hours a night, you still have
Hmm.
100 and like 14 hours, 118 hours
Yeah.
to really kind of do what you want to do to create your life. What do you want your business to look like? What do you want your faith to look like? Your ministry, where you're serving it. Like, what do you want that to look like? What do you want your relationships to look like? What do you want your physical fitness to look like? And once you have an idea of what that is and what the most important thing is in all those areas, well, then you could just go to work, placing those in your schedule, and then just you
Yeah.
just have to execute. And so I love that. Like you've got ministry in there, you got your college, right? The degree you're
Hmm.
getting ready to get. You've got work, not just
Yeah.
selling, but you also have recruiting. You've
Hmm.
got mentorship where you actually have time allotted where you can develop and get better and help elevate your thought process. You've got rest time like a Sabbath. Like you've got all those things in it. And so when you hear it, I think most people, like when I'm listening, I'm like, it's a reminder of like, wow, we could probably get so much more done if it's hyper intentional. Like if it's
Hmm.
really, really intentional and knowing what you really want to have take place in your life. And listen, I love it because you to me, it's like you're creating your life by design, not by default. I think it's a great paradox. Typically, if you're, running by default, you'll feel overwhelmed. You'll feel like there's never enough time in a day, and you'll not hit the mark as far as growing areas in any area of your life for the most part. But when you're
Hmm.
hyper focused like you and you're designing your life, you really get to realize, you get to a place where like I'm not overwhelmed. Everything I do is producing fruit, and it's a beautiful thing. I think for anybody on here, maybe interrogate your reality, do kind of an audit check, go through your day, and just kind of figure out what do I need to tweak, adjust to make sure it's in line with my goals and the vision of what my life I want it to look like, right? And so, absolutely love that. The other question I know everybody's thinking on here is like, why are you still in college when you're, making $500,000 a year and you got a team also. We didn't even talk about that, but you obviously you got a team, you got agency, you're mentoring and leading. So like that's
Yeah.
another part of a whole business, right? Is not just
Hmm.
personally selling, but also recruiting and building. But like,
Hmm.
why are you still in college?
So I started college. I started this business. I started being a dialer my freshman year. And I honestly there's been a couple points where I'm like, forget this, I want to quit. But I have good people in my life like Joe and Gabe. I talked to them. I talked to Sean and Chill and Mindy and my parents. I'm like, wait, let's weigh the pros and cons of me quitting. And honestly, it made more sense. I wanted to hit my PC year in college. And then also finishing out, just finish what you start. My parents have instilled that into me for a very young age and that you can do hard things. Like it's really hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's really hard balancing everything. I feel like I'm juggling a million different things. But at the same time, how cool would it be at the end of this year to say, hey, I graduated college, I wrote a million in business, and my agency is doing 500,000 a month by the end of the year. I've learned how to stretch myself more than I thought I could be. I pushed myself when I thought I was going to break, and then I learned I could push myself a little bit more. I learned how to write on a really high level on a really limited schedule. So I figured I was like, okay, let me learn how to write on a small schedule. And then I can take all those hours where I'm in classes and I can use them to recruit and mentor and still perform well. So I've learned that I can still write well in high pressure situations and limited schedule situations. And so it's just taking those skills that I've learned these last few years, they're going to help me so much more in business coming down the road because I've learned how to adapt to my surroundings and my schedule.
So good. So good. Have you taken stuff from like college and used that in
Yeah.
business?
Yeah, so I'm elementary ed major. So I do a lot of like teaching and talking in front of people. So just the way like my agents, they all learn different ways. Like Kenny, Christiana, and Autumn, they don't learn the same way at all. So that's something they teach us in school. Like little 6-year-old kids, they don't learn the same. So it's about putting it on their level. So that's the same thing with agents, learning on their level. Also having patience, like your agents, they're not all going to pick it up at the same time. And also learning how to teach it to them and not just like a broad group. So that has been something that's really pivotal that I've walked away with. Also with like public speaking, speaking in front of people, it's helped me get more comfortable. Where I would be on a Zoom call and I would be like shaking because I would be so nervous. And now it doesn't stress me out anymore. So just different things like that.
I love that. So good. I think that when you're so hyper focused in this business where it's like what you think about, you go to sleep thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it, you
Yeah.
just like you have this I guess conviction and
Yeah.
certainty that you're going to be successful. Like you're going to get financially free. And that doesn't mean it's happening yet. That doesn't mean that maybe you even have a lot of evidence for that yet. But I think the first thing is when somebody finally gets to a place where they say, I have no shot of a doubt that this is going to be the career that's going to lead me to financial freedom. And when you have such certainty in that and you become
Hmm.
obsessed with it, then like everything starts to kind of like tie into how you could pull and get value and benefits to apply to your business. Like, Alyssa, I remember, going to church and hearing services and taking notes. And then as I'm wrapping up, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, like that's so applicable. Like that lesson in Luke is so applicable to like me being able to serve and help this agent and really being able to empower them and like everything just starts to highlight and show it's almost like this affirmative attraction. Like once you have your mind so focused on something, then
Hmm.
all these other things just start to come your way to really kind of help aid you to go out there and build and grow and develop the business that you're so consumed and you're thinking about. And I
Yeah.
think that's a testament to what you're saying. So maybe for somebody on here, if you're thinking there's things in your life that you got to do and knock out and it's wasted time, I wonder if you just lack obsession. Because I bet you whatever you're doing, there's something in there that can help enhance and improve your ability to be more successful in this business. But you won't find it if you're not looking for it. And if you're not obsessed, you probably won't look for it. And so I just love how you've pulled stuff from that, and applied to your business and you're seeing great fruits and growth from it. Also, think about like what most people could see as a disadvantage. And guys, hear me here, because I think this is a big deal. Unless a lot of people you could easily say, well, I just issue paid 200,000 for the year because I'm a full-time college student. Like my schedule's full. It's busy. And
Hmm.
and nobody would be like, you're wrong. Like that'd be pretty justifiable, right? But because you didn't see it that way, and you said, no, I'm going to do this, then it caused you to develop characteristics in yourself, disciplines in your schedule to lead
Hmm.
you to a place that now, as you scale and build your business, you're going to be able to get there 10 times faster because you developed the disciplines and characteristics that would have never been birthed if you would have bought into an excuse of, I can't because I'm a full-time college student. And so most people don't realize the multiplication effect that takes place when they really get past comfortability, they get past those excuses and justification, like how that character that's built, not only do you get a better growth and result now, but you get a character that's necessary and essential to carry what you're going to carry later. And so good. So good. All right. Two tips. So if we're looking at skill sets, what are
Yeah.
two skill sets that you believe have helped you the most in this business? If you had to pick two, the two most beneficial skill sets that you've developed.
Um, Skill set, setting good appointments. Like I sat with a, I think had 35, 40 appointments last week. I had four no-shows. So I've learned how to like, I'm interested in maxing out every area of my life. So at first I was really interested, I mastered how to get someone to show up. And then my clothes was a little bit lacking. So I asked Koski, I was like, hey, can you help me identify the issue with my clothes? I said, I can get all my appointments to show up, but I'm not as good of a closer as I could be. And we walked through that and he helped me. Um, I think the second thing though, it's learning how to um, push myself. Like that's something that's been lost in this generation. Like they don't know how to push themselves if they have to work hard. They don't want to do it. So learning how to push myself, my parents instilled in me from a very young age to work hard and do the best you can. And so I thought that was how everyone was. I was like, everyone works hard. That's what you should do. So learning how to work hard and put my mind to something, if I get interested in something, I become obsessed with it very quickly. This business, a lot of people think that obsession is a bad thing. It's really not. It's being so obsessed with something, you want to do it to the best of your ability and do it as long as you can. I want to build the best agency I can. I want to be the best writer that I can. There's nothing wrong with that. But do what you say you're going to do. That's something that a lot of people struggle with. You have to do what you say you're going to do. If you're going to show up at 8 a.m., show up at 8 a.m. And I know that sounds kind of like stupid, but a lot of agents, if they learned that one thing, do what you say you're going to do, their business, it would transform immensely.
I agree. I agree 100%. I think it leads to probably the number one characteristic and quality that most top producers have, which is confidence, right?
Yeah.
When you do what you say you're going to do, it's a great confidence builder. And confidence is essential to be able to go out there and, for one, lead clients because they want to deal with confident people, and then also lead others when it comes to recruiting and building the business. Nobody wants to follow an insecure leader or person that doesn't hold confidence. It's like, would you want a doctor to operate on you, on your heart, if they weren't confident? Like, well, I could do it, but I'm not that confident that I'm going to succeed. Like, what?
Hmm.
Like, give me somebody different. Like, this
Yeah.
isn't going to work. And so I think that's so well said, Alyssa. I think those are definitely great tips. And I think the one thing I grabbed as you were talking that you didn't say, but you said it without necessarily pointing it out, which was you reached out and saw somebody that was further ahead of you in certain areas so you could allow their hindsight to be your foresight so they could look back and say, okay, I know what you're going through. I've been there too. This is how you enhance your close. This is how you enhance your show rate. And that led you to go out there and getting better. And that's what people have the opportunity to do as we get into the summit next week in the next couple of days. They're going to be able to get around people and ask them like, hey, I'm kind of struggling here. How do you handle that? How would you deal with that? And so
Mhm.
it really shows your, I guess, ownership and desire to go after your goals when you ask questions and you ask with an open mind, with like true belief that what you're going to hear is going to change your business. Not just
Yeah.
asking to ask. And everybody's been there before where you're asking, but you really don't want to do nothing different. You're asking, but you've already kind of made a pre-decision that you don't want to truly get uncomfortable. But you're
Hmm.
asking and you're asking in this way where it's like, whatever you say, I'm going to try it because you have the result I desire. And I don't care what it takes. I want success. I want to go out there and do what I'm called to do. And so I'm going to implement what you have to say. There's a difference. There's a
Yeah.
difference. And I believe that obviously what you've done is shown that your obsession, your desire to go out there and be great, it's there. But I also want to make a point, Alyssa, that it's not there and it takes a place of other areas of your life that matter most to you. You've
Yeah.
got your schedule's full of your priorities. And so when you're obsessed in work in the time block of working, you're obsessed. When you're doing ministries, in time in ministry, you're probably obsessed. You want to do your best to serve and be there. Whatever you're doing, when you're with your friends and you say, I go out for dinner that night, like you're obsessed with that relationship. Like you're focused, you're present, you're purposeful. Man, that's a leveled up life. That's a life that's going to the next level. And so I absolutely love that. As we wrap up, if you're talking to you know, 19, 20 year olds, Alyssa, kind of like your age range. And they're
Mhm.
saying, hey, give me one last tip that you believe will really help me take my business to the next level. What would be that one tip that you would give them, as we wrap up?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I struggled with coming into this was listening to to like the negative talk that was around me, like people telling me I couldn't do it, things like that. So ignore that. Like I know it can be really hard. It can be all consuming and it'll eventually, if you let it set in, it'll self-sabotage you. So really reflect on your goals. Know what you want out of this business. I know in 10 years, I want $300 million agency. I know what I want, but my actions also reflect that. So today I'm working for that $300 million agency and I'm building the steps that it needs. But at this point, I'm working constantly on that vision. I have a long-term vision, but I also have a short-term vision. And so you need to constantly be focusing on the task at hand. So this year it's $1 million. This year it's $500,000 agency. So focus on the task at hand. You need to have a goal that you're striving for in the moment. I know you have like a big long-term goal. A lot of people want that big exit, but their actions don't reflect that. If you have big goals, make sure your actions reflect that and simply put in the work that it takes. It's great to have dreams, it's great to have ambition, but the best part is I had that dream, I had that ambition, and I put the work and I've checked off everything that I said I would do. And that is the best feeling that you can have is doing what you say you'll do.
Gosh, so good. I'm so grateful for you, and it's a privilege to be in business with you. And I love watching the impact that you're not just having for you and your family and your life and what you're doing, but you're making such a big difference in so many others. I mean, today was a master class on not just how to go out and write 500,000 on your own pen. It was a master class on how to go out there and become the type of person that could write 500,000. And that's really what people got to focus on to eventually
Mhm.
get to that result. And I think you did such a great job going through your schedule and talking about your mindset for everybody on here to kind of reflect and say, hey, on a 1 to 10 scale, how well am I doing with that? And so, guys, this week, a couple days from now, we will be in Orlando, Florida. Alyssa will be there. And as you can tell, she has a heart to serve. She wants to see the best for you. So if you're walking through the conference and you got a question, ask her the question, take the notes, have that open mind, and go out there and implement it. This interview could have went 3.5 hours, and the truth is, I really wanted it to, but for the sake of Alyssa's time, because I know she's got a disciplined, structured schedule, I wanted to keep it the normal time frame. But there's a lot more we could cover. Guys, find her at the conference, ask her some questions, take some notes. I promise you it's going to serve you and serve you so well. Alyssa, thank you again for hopping on and very grateful to spend this time with you this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Well, hey, let's go make it a big week. Let's go crush it. Be strong, stay steadfast, and we'll talk to you next week. God bless you guys.